Word prepared has been used instead of slaughtered to avoid any misunderstanding which might be created. Sounds strange? Yes, it does, until one reads it all before making up his mind. First of all, let us understand what is halal and what is dabiha. Halal is a generic term for permissible animals/things, which may be slaughtered/consumed by Muslims. Dabiha, on the other hand, is the meat of a permissible, halal, animal slaughtered by meeting four conditions, namely, severance, by a sharp object, of jugular veins, cutting of esophagus, while invoking the name, chanting-takbeer, of Allah, SWT, and then letting the blood be drained. Now, according to the Q 5-5, today, all the good things of life have been made lawful to you. And the food of those who have been vouchsafed revelation aforetime is lawful to you. 14 And your food is lawful to them. And, lawful to you are, in wedlock, women from among those who believe, in this divine writ, and, in wedlock, women from among those who have been vouchsafed revelation before your time, provided that you give them their dowers, taking them in honest wedlock, not in fornication, nor as secret love companions. 15 But as for him who rejects belief, in God, in vain will be all his works, for in the life to come he shall be among the lost. 16. Here I would like to draw attention to a very subtle hint. Muslims, in this verse, have been allowed to marry the chaste women of the people of Book, POB, by paying them dower, ensuring the legitimate relationship. On the other hand, POB has not been allowed to marry Muslim women, regardless. Food of each other, on the contrary, however, has been allowed to be consumed, unconditionally. It is an excellent display of divine wisdom, by granting a concession at this juncture, because the women WHO have been made lawful for Muslims, despite being chaste, grew up on the food, which might not have been prepared as per Islamic rules, and the same would most likely be offered to Muslim husbands, refusing to eat whereof would sound offensive and insulting. Muslim may take their women but refuse to eat their food. Explanations number 14 and 15 by Azad, in his translation of 5-5, alluding to this subtlety. Can one, in the given circumstances, find a chaste woman easily amongst the POB? Hence, one ought to see the overall condition of POB also in the same vein, necessitating the application of conditional clauses 1 and 2, mentioned below. Here is, however, what has been categorically ordained before/after the concession allowed by Allah, SWT, in Q 5-3 and 6-118. The conditional clause number 1 of, unless you have properly slaughtered, should be closely observed as it is used in the Quran as a distinguishing factor for the permissibility of meat. Linguistically, dabiha means to complete or perfect something. Legality operates until proved otherwise. A ruling deduced from Q 1030 has been specified by Al-Jassas in his Ahkam al-Quran that all edibles are permissible and halal lawful unless the unlawfulness or prohibition of something particular stands proved through an evidence of Sharia. Consider the current religious practices of the people of the book in the light of clause number 1 and 2. A pertinent hadith reported by Sahih Muslim, on the authority of Abu Huraira, where Prophet, PBUH, said, by the one in whose hands rests my life, any Jew or Christian, POB, who hears my call and still does not believe in the teachings I have brought, then he or she will be of the people of hell, Jahannam. The language employed in this hadith expresses the continuity of its application until the end of the time. Accentuation of the point of eating properly slaughtered meat. Eat of that meat, over which the name of Allah, SWT, has been pronounced, the conditional clause number 2, while slaughtering that animal/bird, if you are believers in his revelations, 6-118. And why should you not eat of that meat, on which Allah's name has not been pronounced, at the time of slaughter, while he has explained to you in detail what is forbidden to you, except under extreme necessity? And, surely many do lead mankind astray by their own desires through lack of knowledge. Certainly, your Lord knows best the transgressor, 6-119. Eat not, O believers, of that meat on which Allah's name has not been pronounced, at the time of slaughtering, for sure it is disobedience of Allah, a sinful conduct. And certainly, the Shayatan, devils, do inspire their friends, from mankind, to dispute with you, and if you obey them, making al-maytat illegal to eat, maytata, a dead animal or animal/bird slaughtered without taking the name of Allah during slaughter, then you would indeed be a polytheist, i.e. doing shirk, ascribing partners to Allah, 6-121. And such animals, cattle, upon which they mention not the name of Allah, during slaughter, only to fabricate a lie against him, 6-138. So eat of the lawful, dabiha, and good food, pure wholesome, halal cattle slaughtered according to Islamic method, which Allah has provided for you. And be grateful for the graces of Allah, If it is he whom you worship, 16 to 114. And say not concerning that which your tongue says falsely, this is halal and this is haram, so as to invent lies against Allah. Verily, those who invent lies against Allah will never prosper, a passing brief enjoyment will be theirs, but they will have a painful torment, 16 to 116 to 117. For every nation, we have appointed religious ceremonies so that they may mention the name of Allah, SWT, upon the animals that He has given them for food, 22:34. So mention the name of Allah, SWT, upon them, sheep, goat, cows, oxen, camels etc., as they line up, for sacrifice, 22:36. Relevant hadith. Sayyiduna Abu Hurairah, R.A., reports that the Prophet, PBUH, said, "A time will come upon the people wherein a man will not bother what he intakes, whether from a halal source or haram." Bukhari 2059. The Prophet, PBUH, said, "Avoid whatever you have doubts about in favor of what is not doubtful." Tirmidhi. Hanbalite, Shafi'ite, Malikite and Hanafite school, all adhere to the above position. Important note. One should not pick and choose a verse to present his/her own favorite point of view. Instead, a collective outcome of all the verses on the topic should be the one guiding and binding. Q. 2, 85 and 4, 150. Opposite points of views. Despite all the above quotes and the position emphasized upon in this treatise, several imams, such as Imam Ibn Kathir, R.A., writes in famous commentary, Ibn Abbas and Abu Umama and Mujahid and Sa'id ibn Jubair and Ikrima and Atta and Al-Hasan and Makul and Al-Sudi and Muqatil ibn Hayyan said that it, the food of the people of the book, means what they slaughter. In fact, this is a matter on which there is agreement among the scholars, that is what they, the people of the book, slaughter is lawful for the Muslims because they believe that it is unlawful to slaughter to other than Allah, and they mention nothing other than the name of Allah over what they slaughter, even though they believe things about Him, exalted is He, that He transcends. The validity of opposing views. These imams, based on their ishad, juridical contemplative deduction, uphold the injunctions given in Q. 5-5, as self-contained/freestanding. In Islamic parlance, where a difference of opinion like this ensues, neither of the points of views is considered invalid or wrong. H. Difference of opinion of Muhammad, PBUH's companions is a mercy for Allah's slaves. Every difference of opinion, in juridical, fiqh, issues, is based on a sincerely deduced unique perspective, hence become a basis/source of mercy. The basis of a difference of opinion. A difference of opinion among the imams normally stems from the state/understanding of the evidence, such as text or hadith. Unavailability, abrogation, considered weak, forgetfulness of it, the unreliability of its narrator, misconstruing its meaning or thinking that the one in hand is stronger than the new one. Here is how one may decide which way to follow. Those who know of the evidence should follow it, Quranic text or hadith sahih, even if it goes against some of the imams, but not against the consensus imam of the ummah. Shaykh Uthaymeen, R.A. Those who are not well versed in such a knowledge should resort to a reputed scholar, for Allah, SWT, says, "So ask those who know the scripture, if you know not." Q. 1643. I seek refuge in Allah, SWT, for my shortcomings. May Allah, SWT, guide us all on the right path. Shakir2.wordpress.com